PG.
Pack in the back of the back of the egg, pack in the back of the back of the egg, pack in the back of the back of the egg, pack in the back of the egg.
Okay, then.
You know what? I knew I was right to grab a drink before we started. Yeah, great start. This is FNGR welcoming you all to Limbo Podcast, joined by the following co-hosts. Toon Critic.
What up?
I'm not even going to bother trying to put it on the right, the back end, or the front end. Every time I do Y2K, I was put it in the wrong place. Secret Dreamer.
Yo!
AstroBoy's girlfriend.
Hello.
And this week's King of Limbo, the DaWillstanator.
Why does everybody keep on adding the at the beginning? I realize it's a clever Terminator reference, but there's no the.
You're the Terminator 2.0.
Well, I
Are
looked
you
at
gonna
the
pump
name
us up?
Willsonator, I love it.
Yeah.
Are you gonna pump us up?
And again, everybody keeps on saying Sonator. It's STA. S-T-A. Look at how it's spelled. Get it goddamn right.
It's okay, honey. We won't say it again,
If I
Mr.
was still
Big
getting
Spoken.
animations from Crown Prince, that would have been yours right there.
Oh my god, yes!
Yes, I wholeheartedly approve.
Oh.
No, wait, I'm sorry.
feel
I
so
should say it in the proper fashion. I wholeheartedly approve. Yes.
You know, I'm told you're a Michael Jackson fan, right?
I am.
Oh, thank God. I was about to say, well, I'm going to look like an asshole. Here you go. Give that a look. It's a 2-second little animation. I'm probably going to loop through this.
Okay, what do we got here? Loading.
He didn't get the other half done yet, but...
Let's see, hold on.
I love the 80s motif.
That is
Yes!
so cool.
Yes! Oh my yes! I love this!
That
Okay,
is
now what you need to do is right-click it and put it on loop.
This is too cool.
That is
Oh,
so awesome.
that is so cool.
Oh, that's
who
so
did this?
cool.
Great.
Oh my god, and this is like formatted like a Mortal Kombat. This is awesome! I love it!
Totally
Well,
epic.
It was one of those things where I was like, let's get him. I'm like, how do I get another co-host in there? And then he remembered back in the day I had a Mortal Kombat thing done for a couple of previous co-hosts, and he's like, we've got a standard rate if you plug somebody in there. I was like, Moonwalker, that was kind of a fighting game. I was gonna get one done for Keyframe. One she didn't show up to. My artist doesn't have that part done too either. And I was like, okay, that'll look really cool.
That looks amazing. I love it.
I like how it's titled Wilwa.
What's something
Yeah.
you need to cut out of your life to be more productive?
My actual job. You don't know this, but I work like 5 to 6 days a week, and it is. I'd rather spend more of my time doing online work because not only is it work that I'm proud of, but it also helps me unwind after a long day, and it's. Yeah, like I said, I'd rather spend my time, I think I can speak for everybody else. I would love to get paid for what I do, and what I do essentially is just do silly voices in front of a mic, and, people take that for what it is and stuff like that. But other than that, I can't necessarily think of anything else. So there is another thing. I sometimes, when I'm trying to be in the zone, I can get distracted easily, like checking up on my subscription feeds or social medias and stuff like that. And if I could try and tone those down at least a bit to be more productive, I would. But
I've got a segue with that question. What's some of the channels online that you've lost interest in?
like what kind of channels, if I may ask?
Any of the ones that you, like, if you have a routine, the ones that you like, oh, I used to watch this all the time, and you just realize, wow, I've just completely cut this out.
There are a few that I've had to cut off, like stuff I like to used to watch back in my high school days were stuff like Smosh, and I used to be a really big avid fan of AVGN, but I just sort of lost touch with those two. I mean, I still do watch them occasionally. I don't know, they just didn't really appeal to me anymore. Some of their newer stuff is kind of but other than that, no other channels come to mind.
Do you have any? Oh, okay, this might be somewhat morbid. Do you have anything that you need to do before your bucket list? Something I need to do this for my life to be fulfilled.
It's like stuff I need to do before I kick the bucket.
Yeah, something where like I wouldn't feel fulfilled if I didn't do the following.
Oh boy, that's a toughie. Yeah, you know what? Let's come back to it.
What keeps you positive then?
A lot of things, honestly. Like, I'm a naturally optimistic person, even on my, really, really tough days. But most of what keeps me going are, my friends, talking to them once in a while. Another big motivator for me to, keep me on the right path is music. Whenever I'm at work and if I'm given a lot of shit, I just blast some stuff on my iPod, and it puts me in a different sort of reality where I can just get away from today's world. So yeah, music, friends, and just try my best to remain optimistic. And MLP has done a great share of that. There have been some times where I rewatch previous episodes that I've taken a great liking to, like stuff like Pinky Pride, Sisterhood Social, and stuff like that become staples. Other than that, just the thought, looking back on what I have accomplished thus far also keeps me motivated. There are a lot of people I've met, a lot of opportunities I did that I would not trade for the world, like taking voice acting classes in Burbank or Hollywood and other parts of Los Angeles. Those opportunities alone, and the fact that I get feedback from my coaches and professional people in the industry, they keep me going. Like, I don't know if you know this yet, but when I competed in the Voice Equestria at BabsCon last year, I ran into Tara Strong again during a live show at the Hollywood Improv. She told me straight out that I've got what it takes to be a professional in the business. Hearing that be said by Tara, one of the leading people in the industry, it gives me a lot of confidence, man. It really does. Just the connections I've made with people, not just online, but out there in the world. It's really fulfilling. I really enjoy that.
What's the fastest way to ruin your day? Say in front of your friend here.
I know, but I'm not going to say it.
Oh, no, we can skip that one. I haven't.
Now I'm intrigued.
Toon, are you telling me something I don't know?
Maybe.
Ooh.
Playing devil's
That sounds
advocate,
like
are we,
story.
Toon?
See, the thing is, listening to him on this, I am one of Will's oldest and closest friends. I've known this guy for close to, what is it now, 7 or 8 years. I know some stuff about him.
We met around 2009, 2010, something like that, I think.
Around that, yeah. I know some stuff, but I'm going to be a good co-host and not spill any beans.
Good, because quite frankly, even I don't know what you're talking about. But then again, part of me doesn't want to know.
No, there is something, but
all right, that's enough teasing, girl. Let's move on.
Tease critic.
But yeah.
Yes, I remember. Fastest way to ruin Will's day. Remind him of most of the old stuff he did.
Oh my god!
Oh, really?
Remind him of when he used to be in his shed with a camcorder and a bunch of model trains on a little layout, making cute little train videos.
Know that.
Or better yet, using Windows Movie Maker to make these enlightening character slideshow videos.
Oh, you're one to talk, mister.
Oh, he's in the train.
Let's talk about your humble beginnings, mister.
Oh.
What was it? Flame Amigo 619?
That's the day it started to turn to Jerry Springer or the Maury show up in here.
That's my baby's daddy.
But yeah, he's right. That is one way to sort of get me a bit riled up. But yeah, then again, I have to remind myself, everybody has questionable beginnings, and I look at where I am now, and part of me wishes I could leave the past behind, but another part of me realizes that without the past, I wouldn't know what I know now. Let's leave it at that.
Well, you know what? Since you put that here and you can pass on this one, what's something with maturity that you would handle differently?
Something with maturity I would handle differently. I'll skip that one because I honestly don't have an answer for that.
I'm waiting for someone to be confident enough to say I've grown old enough to stop worrying about maturity.
With me being an actor myself, it's kind of part of my job to not be mature at times.
Oh, don't
maturity? What is that?
I kind of misconstrued and spun that from something I asked Silver Quill, and he said I kind of like the idea that I'm old enough to stop worrying about maturity. I'm paraphrasing.
that makes sense.
Yeah. What's your least favorite phrase? Something you say from someone and you're going, well, that's cool.
Probably either I'm fine or it's nothing. Because usually 9 times out of 10, whenever someone I know says that, when they show clearly that something is wrong, that just gets me so peeved. It's like, no, it's obviously not fine. What the hell is wrong? That can just get under my skin sometimes.
Yeah, I completely understand that.
What's something you spend money on that you use the least?
Oh boy, something I spend money on that I use the least. I don't really have anything for that. I'd say I usually spend my money very wisely.
Good man.
Because I'm one of those people that I don't purchase anything unless I feel I'm going to need it in the long run. Like Okay, I'll be honest. For the longest time, whenever I wanted to, like back in the early days of Pony, when I wanted to try and commission someone for art, I don't know, part of me thinks that unless I'm going to use that art for something, it's kind of, I mean, I'm sure it's supporting the artist, but, after you get your piece, what exactly are you going to do with it? So that's why whenever I do ask someone for art commissions, I use that for projects like the vector poses I have from Oblivion Fall that I commissioned, or any sort of art piece that I do for a video I'm doing, or like album cover art or song cover art and stuff like that. Usually with me, I like to have a purpose whenever I'm buying something. I'm not one of those people that just sees something, only used for the then and now, then it's like, shut up and take my money. It's like, no, I don't do that. Although I do wish, this bad habit I have is, after work, I usually, try to drive through a fast food place and, get a little something. And I kind of tend to overspend just a tad, and I'm trying to cut down on that.
Were you one of the people that mourned the oversize or biggie size or whatever the hell it used to be called?
Super size?
Almost. I just order a lot of the smaller items, and usually, I don't know. I'm just trying to cut down on that and be patient and actually try to get something at home. But other than that, nothing else comes to mind.
But that involves making dishes and cooking and cleaning.
Yeah, and especially given my work hours, I usually don't get home until 9 or 10 at night, and nighttime is usually when I'm the most productive on things. So in a sense, me driving through some places, the only way I can get fed, because otherwise I'll be, taking valuable time I could use for projects, just trying to, make soup or something. And but that's something I need to, get myself together on that.
What's your proudest work?
My proudest work. I actually have several works of mine that I'm proud of. One thing that I loved doing and that I'm really proud of the final product is my cover of You and Me mostly me from the Book of Mormon. It was one of my first attempts to actually try and mix and master it myself. And a couple years ago, when I tried to, actually get back into singing, I was always very perfectionist. That was one song where I had to do, I did a couple of takes of the whole thing, then I would come back and listen to it again. I'm like, oh God, I got to redo all this. They sound terrible. And it was... It was a pain, but that's definitely one of my proudest works. Another thing was two other things. One was actually very recent, my contributions to the L Train's symphonic metal opera Fall of an Empire. I loved how that came out, and it was probably my biggest music collaboration to date.
Did you ever hear his story behind the first one he did?
For Moonrise?
The first symphonic opera that L Train did. He didn't tell his band that it was pony related, and they were pissed off later.
Really?
Oh no! I remember listening to it, thinking to myself, I talked to him on another podcast, which is funny. I didn't realize who he was until the very end, and someone looked at me at the tail end of the pod. I'm like, wait a minute, you're actually good. Back when I didn't do my homework before podcast.
That's interesting to know. But yeah, Fall of an Empire, loved how it came out. And I'll be honest, it's one of the few works in this fandom, like the L Train and Ponyphonic. I feel like these are the most trusted individuals to make an actual official pony musical, like a stage show of sorts. I would love to see that.
Being somewhat familiar with L Train, are you a metal fan?
I wasn't at first. My first
something pretty cool.
Yeah, my first impressions of metal was just a bunch of guitar riffs with just ah.
You make that sound negative, sir. How dare you?
But I don't know. It's I respected it for what it was. It just wasn't my personal cup of tea. But then, the L Train put out auditions for Fall of an Empire for the choir. And so before I send my audition as a tenor, I decided, you know what? Okay, I'll give this guy a listen. So I listened to Moonrise, and I loved it. It combined the symphonic orchestra with hard rock metal, and I just love the chemistry behind it. And when I got the part of a tenor for the choir, and then later on when the original singer for Sombra had to drop out because he was studying abroad at the time, they asked people to audition for Sombra. And then when I discovered I got it, I was overjoyed because I loved working my parts for the choir. And then for me to be as one of the main singers, it made me love the project even more. So after this, I've grown to appreciate metal a lot more. But yeah, so yeah, Fall of an Empire was another one. The other one I wanted to mention, okay, yeah, going back to what Zach said, yes, my beginnings were just filming videos in my shed in my backyard with my model train set. I think it was last year I got together with Toon and my good friend Joey to do a little thing called Ben, Joe, and Bill Zooey's Excellent Adventures.
Oh,
so many people were confused who had never heard of our old stuff. We just threw that out, then everybody's like, "The fuck is this?"
That's what my face reaction is right now after hearing that. I was like, "What?"
When you said Joey,
yeah, okay,
is that the guy who does your title cards there, Tim? Is the one who does your title cards or whatever?
Oh
no. That's Isaac. Joey is another close friend of ours that I've actually known a little longer than Toon, and but yeah, we like to sort of give back to the, like, despite our beginnings being, critically terrible.
We were really, really terrible back in the day.
Yeah, we didn't know any better. But, it is nice to get the band back together in a sense. And,
we worked with a lot of really crappy people back in the day. But when we got back together and we came up with, like, I think the best script we've ever made with Ben, Joe, and Bill Zooey.
Ben, Joe, and Bill Zooey. We had the privilege of asking, a couple people in this fandom to help us. And two of those being Jester Dorama and Bald Dumbo Rat of Doctor Who's an assistant, who played the title characters Ben, Joe, and Bill Zooey, and their performances were just amazing. And getting to do that type of stuff again after so long, it did feel pretty invigorating, especially knowing what we know now. And it's definitely work that was derived from our past creations, but we've made it to where we can actually stomach it in a sense. And
we got something out of it, at least. We got a lot of voice acting skills out of it. We eventually got better with our editing and whatnot, so.
And by you guys getting better, you mean I got better at editing. I edited the whole thing together, asshole.
Sorry.
To be fair, you and Joey did. I take some of the credit, so.
Yeah, you at the very least helped with the script.
Oh, Toon, have I taught you nothing? Take all of the credit, none of the blame.
But yeah, pretty much you and me, but mostly me. Fall of an Empire and Ben, Joe, and Bill Zooey's Excellent Adventures. Those are my three proudest works. Along with, a lot of people also say this. What's my, when they ask, what's your favorite project you've been on? They always say the next one.
Quick question. I'm going to want this, obviously, to view it as a fan.
Sure.
You said the Book of Mormon. I will want that also for a timestamp. You said you and me, but mostly me. Is that on YouTube?
Yes, it is. It's on my channel.
Yeah. Okay, I'll hunt that down when I'm doing timestamps.
I found that hilarious. It was Sunday at BronyCon, and he was up there to do it, and he gave his cue for when the music was supposed to start. It didn't start. I kind of snickered. I'm just
it was
the music
a sign.
supposed to start?
I've been up there in front of like a speech in front of like a mass crowd and had like a projector go horribly wrong on me. It's a debilitating thing.
Yeah, that
from God.
That performance during BronyCon's open mic last year, I'll admit, I did have fun up there, but looking back at it now, it's one of my more cringier performances.
You know what's really bad, Will, is when you sit there, you look out into the audience, and you lock eyes with a fan, and all they do is shake their head at you. You're like, God damn it, I want to be anywhere but here.
Here's the thing. Everybody liked my performances. Everybody liked the performance. It's just, when I look back at it now, I sounded so off-key in a lot of places. And that's another pet peeve of mine. Whenever I do something and then I look back at it and I sound off-key, I was like, why didn't I notice that earlier? And I don't know. It's part of me is trying to remember that you need to be in the moment of the performance. And I admit that's something that escapes me. So that's just my inner critic sort of, taking over me. And I'm trying to get it controlled, but, it's...
Well, later on, Will, when you make it in life and you're sitting there in your later 60 years, someone will point back at that video to kick you, knock you down a little bit. So don't worry about it. You said you've been to Babs. You've also been to BronyCon. What are some of the differences you'd say between the two conventions?
Babs and BronyCon, you mean?
Yeah.
Between BronyCon and BabsCon?
You could speak on this intelligently too.
I'll let Will go first. So.
Well, besides the scale of it, I felt like BabsCon as an experience versus BronyCon. Babs gave me, you know, a little more, like with the Voice Equestria that they host, it gave a little bit more of an open window to making it professionally in the industry. And that's what I saw, you know, that opportunity is. It's a chance to, like, you can say this about any con, but I feel Babs specifically, it's like the fact that their first year was one of the best cons of that year. That's, you know, something to behold. And BronyCon, you get to meet a lot more people. It's like I said, it's one of the bigger conventions, and they're just, I guess the main difference between them, I say, is just the scale and the experience that you feel at each one is unique. Express it any better than that. I mean, I'd say they're technically the sort of the same experience, but just on a different scale, in a sense. I mean, I do enjoy going to both.
I'll elaborate on that. I think with BabsCon, it feels a lot friendlier. It does not feel as much as overwhelming. I think the remark I made when we were at BabsCon is like, the hotel is like, it's a lot bigger on the inside, and that's good because I feel like when hotels do, you know, Brony conventions and stuff, I think it's easier to work with. It's a lot more convenient. You don't have to run like 3 blocks away to your hotel. It's just like you just got to take the elevator up and bam. With BronyCon, there's a huge big stage sort of feeling. Everything is bigger. Everything is brighter. Like it's the big leagues, and it can be a little intimidating for people who have never done that. But I kind of prefer BronyCon. I get a good high off of being in those big time environments.
When you're saying it's intimidating, are you saying that as someone who presents and has a panel? Or are you saying that as a fan?
I'm saying it as both. I'm saying as a first-time presenter, I got to do it at BabsCon, but a first-time presenter at BronyCon, there are nerves. There's a swarm of butterflies in your stomach you're never going to be able to get rid of. And even now, when you've been doing this for like a good 2 years, you still get that rush. And you know that when that rush is there, it means that like this is never going to stop being fun.
Pretty much took the words right out of my mouth.
That was deep and meaningful. I didn't have any witty, snarky remarks.
Toon critic.
I just thought of Meatloaf.
What? The singer or the...
Yeah.
Way to ruin the moment there.
Don't you know that song? That's what I thought of.
Which song?
What song? You took the words right out of my mouth.
I don't get it.
I was picturing Meatloaf from Rocky Horror Picture Show zooming around.
No, it's
Molly, what
outside
are
of
you
Rocky
thinking
Horror.
of Meatloaf and his freaking leather
I
jacket
listened.
right now?
God damn it! I never win.
No, it's just like legit. It's me and Will having this deep conversation, and then Kitty's on the side just like, oh, what? Sorry, I was thinking of Meatloaf.
When he said no. When he said like, you took the words right out of my mouth. That is a song for Meatloaf.
But just the fact that we stopped FNGR dead in his tracks with a deep and meaningful conversation. That's what's getting me.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
like for the first time I have no rebuttal for that. What do I do? What is this
No,
feeling?
you want to know? You want to know the fun thing though is that coming up with this year's BronyCon is pretty special because this will be the first time on a big stage that me and Will are going to be like on the same panel. Now, me and him, to be fair, dude, we've done Ponyville Cider Fest and Pacific PonyCon, but let's be fair, those weren't really good panels.
Yeah.
So, Anthony, whenever you timestamp this, make sure you timestamp it as Meatloaf.
Oh,
It's a song. I swear.
We love you, Molly.
You know the only downer here. I'm looking at the
Damn
rest of these questions, and these are all stupid. Now after that,
Hey, it's your podcast. If you want me to deal with stupid, I'll deal with stupid.
I got a question.
What,
I got a question.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
When did you first decide that you wanted to be an actor or voice actor?
Oh boy. Okay. Story time, kids. The first instance that I wanted to be an entertainer, be it as an actor or voice actor, was when I was a little kid, infant even, and I first saw the movie Aladdin. It's probably no secret that one of my biggest influences in life is Robin Williams. His performance as the genie, like the minute he appeared on screen and did his little spiel in the Cave of Wonders, my little infant mind clicked, and I said to my mom, it's like,
I want to do that. I want to be just like that blue guy.
Did you hear Hallelujah in the back of your mind?
in a sense. But yeah, that just sort of my passion for performing. So then later on, I would go on to do, school plays in elementary school, and then move on to community theater, and then look at musical theater and look at Broadway. And then I took dance classes later on, like a whole decade's worth. And I don't know, just the thrill of pretending and being something that you're not, it's invigorating to me. It gives you a chance to be in an alternate reality where literally anything could happen. And that it excites me. It really does. And the fact that I was influenced by a character like the genie in Aladdin that could practically do anything, that could impersonate anybody, that could literally conjure up anything with a snap of a finger, it just spoke to me. It really did. And then, Robin Williams wasn't the only influence. We had people like, Jim Carrey, just those really, really hyper sort of can do it all under the sun actors in a sense. Those are people that I can really take away something. And so yeah, Aladdin, perfect goddamn timing.
it was just like Aladdin. Oh, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah, no, it just crashed. I fucking stopped.
I'm still recording. Don't worry.
Okay. So like I was saying before I got cut off, Aladdin, it's not just one of my favorite Disney movies. It spoke to me and it tried to tell me to go on to this certain path, and I'm glad I took it, and I'm never looking back from that. It just spoke to me in a sense, and that's what sort of striked up my passion for performing.
There you go. Well, what would you be doing if you didn't want to be a performer? If something else spoke to you? That's
just it. I honestly don't know. Like, I was one of those kids that didn't really pay a little bit of a personal thing. I was one of those kids that didn't really pay that much attention in school. Like, my mind was always drifting off to somewhere. Like, I wanted to place myself in an alternate reality, and I guess my passion for acting sort of, reinforced that. Even if I didn't have the passion for it, I just always wanted to be somewhere else, and like where I could be anyone else.
You were just the creative type from heart, pretty much.
Pretty much. Like, if you've been in my presence, like for instance, like as long as Zach has, I can be very outgoing in certain circumstances, but other times I'm kind of a antisocial introvert.
Which is really weird considering how freaking outgoing and like loud and like out there he can be. But
yeah, I've seen it.
It more or less just depends on the environment that I'm in. Like, if something creative kicks in and I'm in an environment where I can express it, then I'll go all out for it.
Example, I'll give you an example. Like, let's say, oh yes, last year's BronyCon during karaoke. Will knows what I'm talking about. Will was in the area. There was this big karaoke area. Half of the vendor hall was closed off, and he's near the back. And I was trying to talk to him. I'm just like, dude, why don't you come for karaoke? And he's just being very quiet. He's just like, no, I got things to do. No. And I was like, but dude, this is your thing. And I'm like, okay. So then I jokingly texted him saying, hey, I'm doing a Michael Jackson thing. And I didn't get a reply. So I'm doing it with the Moonlight Quill. And all of a sudden, here he comes jetting down along the back wall, jumps up and starts doing his thing, and then just goes right back to work after. I'm just like, okay.
Is it weird? I could picture that, like, with the whole zoom noise in the background.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I was working on something. I was working on my open mic performance with my partner. But yeah, not gonna lie, the minute I heard you singing that song, like I probably didn't get your text because I was busy. But yeah, like the minute I heard that, I'm like, God damn it, I got the music in me.
Well, of course.
Say, Will, so you mentioned when you were talking about you were able to imagine putting yourself somewhere else. When you're doing the voice lines, are you putting yourself in like the character's shoes? Imagine.
Yes, yes, I am. That's something I've been taught like ever since I took my first acting class. You need to envision yourself as the character. You need to picture yourself in the environment that the story is taking place. And you need to imagine this to yourself, then take whatever stuff the character is going through and then connect it to yourself. So more or less, your performance is more or less just an extension of you. So yeah, like when I'm given the script and I got lines to record, I need to more or less get in the zone and just, all that sort of stuff. It's hard to explain without me sounding repetitive.
What's a place outside the U.S. you wish to most visit?
Oh boy.
Interesting story. I have traveled internationally before.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow.
Okay. Another story time, kids.
Oh, boy.
Back during middle school and high school, I was with this student ambassador program called People to People. And it was like founded back in the 50s by President Eisenhower to basically take middle school and high school students based on parent and teacher recommendations to be student ambassadors and travel internationally for 2 to 3 weeks in select parts of the world. I got to travel to, and these are like over the summer. So in 2003, I went to Australia and New Zealand. In 2004, I went to 6 countries in Europe. I went to Belgium, Switzerland, Germany, Netherlands, France, and England. Then 2005, I went to China. By the way, hot as balls in July. Then I took about a year off to do a family vacation. But then, 2007, I went to Japan. And then 2008, my last trip with them was to the UK. By the UK, I mean England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales. And every single one of those trips has been such a great experience. But if I could choose to go back to one of them, I would definitely say Japan.
It's been one place I wanted to go to, but I've not heard good things about it recently. Or is that China? I do not know the difference.
How did you hear about it?
I've heard like traffic and like smog and like all these
You're
other
thinking
things.
China.
Okay, China. Never mind. Japan. Never mind. Japan seems pretty cool. Let's go to Japan.
I've heard a lot of mixed things going as a female.
Yeah, I can say there's
Just wanted
Japan.
to know.
Japan definitely has a lot going for it, and all the stuff that they crammed into us for those 2 to 3 weeks. It's a rush, but it's an experience I don't ever want to give up.
Does anyone else have any questions, or?
I actually do, if you don't mind.
By all means.
As one actress to another actor, what is your style of acting? Is it method acting, or is it comes through another form? Do you rely on your own emotions or not?
Wow, that's actually a good question. I would have to say from what I was taught, like whenever I read a script, I usually like to read it all the way through to get a feel of the story. And then when it comes to a certain part where the character has to go through an extreme emotion, I was taught for instance, has there ever been an experience in your life where you've gotten really sad, or if you've gotten really angry, if you've got really,
Right.
disgusted in a sense? Think about that moment and recall like how you expressed that emotion and then bring it into your performance. As far as like what type of acting it is, I can't say because that type of stuff I need to look back on. But for me, like it's more or less just applying the experiences that you've had and putting them into your performance in whatever sort of emotional setting that you're given, if that makes sense.
No, that totally does. I do the same exact thing.
Well, there you go.
Do you have any current favorite anime?
I honestly I kind of fell out of the anime phase when ponies became a thing. But back in the day, I was big into the slice of life comedy genre. Like I used to watch a lot of Azumanga Daioh, Lucky Star, Ninja Nonsense. That one was hilarious.
I have actually seen it.
But by far my favorite anime of all time that I still watch today, always laugh my ass off, Boba Bo Bo Boba Bo.
Oh God! Don't get him started on Bo, please.
It is so absurd and so out there. Every time I watch an episode, I'm either scratching my head or busting my guts laughing, and I love it.
All of the yes.
It definitely, I could say it was also sort of an influence into my kind of style of humor.
So you're a big fan of non-sequitur humor?
In a sense, yes. So yeah, Boba Bo, or like, other shows like, like Monty Python's Flying Circus kind of things. Because I'm a really big fan of the obscure and stuff, because I really do like some of the cliche things that are out there. Go ahead.
Yeah, if you're a fan of Monty Python, I got this one from Anthony C. Are you familiar with Blackadder?
I've heard about Blackadder. I need to check that out.
Yeah, same here.
I suggested Red Dwarf to him a while ago.
I do remember, I think you were like, a long time ago, you were like streaming one episode. I remember I got my kicks out of it, so I'll need to make some time for that.
Okay, I got a question. What do you think has been the moment at a con where you've been up on stage doing something? Where's been that moment where like you realize you've made it? Because I know like for a while during some of your earlier stuff, you were kind of struggling to try and get out there. Where was the moment you had where you realized you had like officially made it?
The Voice Equestria 2015. I was going to give it my all, but here's the thing. With me, I'm not a fan of actors who always want their ego stroking, and I always try to take my feedback in stride and not, like, take it too far in a sense. But being up on that stage and, getting the praise, like, I remember, like, even like Andrea Limon as one of the judges was like, you guys were screaming my name, and it's like, is that your family? It's like you seem to have like a lot of fans out there, and I'm like, I guess I do. But
yeah, we were like right in the front row. Apparently, like the whole fan base thing played into like who won, I think.
Yeah, which I thought was a little unfair, but then like it was more or less afterwards when the judges came up to me. I'm talking about Ian James Corlett, Andrea Libman, and Tara Strong, that they came up and spoke with me and gave me recommendations on classes and studios and recommendations for who to produce my demo with and stuff like that. Getting to hear that from people who have been in the industry for this long, that was sort of the moment for me. It's like, I'm making it. I am putting what I've learned to the test, and it is working in my favor. And I never want to come off of this high ever. And it only sort of solidified that. Like when I saw Tara again at the Improv, like back in February for a live show celebrating the Fairly Odd Parents 15th anniversary.
And she remembered you.
Yeah, she remembered me. She remembered what I looked like and all that stuff, which that's an honor in and of itself. But her giving me, like asking, it's like, so like, how have you been? Are there any advancements on where you're going? And I said, well, I'm just taking it step by step. And plus two, I'm sort of hit a standstill with, taking care of my mother and all that stuff. And he said, well, she told me, it's like, well, keep on going, because I'll let you in a little secret. If the fan base thing didn't come into play, you would have won. Like we wanted you to be the winner of that contest at BabsCon, and because it was a really tough decision for them. Like they wanted to declare it a tie, but for some reason, since a guy won the previous year, they wanted a girl to win this year. And pretty much hearing it out of Tara's mouth saying that, in my eyes, you won, it's such an exciting feeling. And that's sort of solidify my motivations to, okay, they think I'm good enough. I'm going to take this seriously. I'm going to take more classes. I'm going to make this a goal of mine by over the next few years. And so far, it's been working really well. I've been looking more into myself about how I perform, and there's still some hiccups that I need to get over from, like some previous jitters I've had in years prior. But it was just that moment on stage where I felt like I was on top of the world. I haven't felt anything like that since the year prior when I was at BronyCon and I got personally asked by Michelle Creber and her family to dance with her on stage during Bronypalooza during Beat It. And so yeah, it was either of those two, but I would have to say Voice Equestria 2015 at BabsCon. That's what solidified it for me.
If you could boost someone's talent, who would it be?
I could boost someone's talent, who would it be? Huh.
Or, something you can't do that you wish you could. Like, what would it be? Like, if you could have this person's thing, kind of an artist or an animator.
If I could, I would want to steal Zach's title card artist's art style. Because I'll be honest, I'm not an artist in any sense of the word. I can sort of trace facial expressions, but other than that, I can't art. I would like to.
I could be such a dick right now.
How? Should I be concerned?
Oh, I could be such a dick. Remember when you wanted to try for Dr. Wolf's little moment thing? You were going to attempt to be the artist for that?
I was?
Dude, you remember? You made a thing. You made like this little...
yes, I remember. And looking back at that, I have no idea what the hell I was even thinking. But
I guess it couldn't have hurt to try.
I am thankful that I gave it a shot, but I don't think it would hold up for, the standards of the artist that he's previously hired, which is why I'm glad I asked Takara POV to be the artist for my moment. But yeah, if I could, like going back to your boosting question, you're asking, like, how would I use my skills to boost someone else's?
If you wanted to say, it's like, if I could have this person's voice acting talent, I could have this person's animating skills.
Yeah, I would want pretty much any artist's artistic talent, or I'm gonna sound so weird for saying this, but there was a time where I want to marry Black Griffin's voice.
Oh, I got it.
Yeah, I want his singing talents. I'll be honest.
Well, that goes on the list of things I never thought I'd hear.
Well, I
But,
mean, you can marry anything apparently nowadays, so I guess that's not out of the question.
Don't I know it? I'm aware
I mean,
of
I could
someone
play in your
trying to
venue
literally
and
marry
everything.
Sparkle, I know.
Okay,
So what we need to do, we need to get you a ring, we need to get Ursula and make a contract.
Yes,
Gotcha.
but
Oh, dear.
I think you look great in a nice shade of navy blue. How does that sound for the tux? Okay.
Ooh, yes.
Mm,
Just like his icon.
yes.
But yeah, those are the ones that come to mind.
Yeah, there you go. I've got like 3 questions real quick.
Oh boy.
Okay, first question. If you could choose any voice actor to work with, be them like relative, unknown, known, who would you choose?
Like professional wise or online or doesn't matter.
Any. Just any, really.
Professionally, I want to work with Jim Cummings.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
He's another big voice acting influence of mine, next to people like Tara and Rob Paulson and Tom Kenny and stuff like that. So yeah, Jim Cummings I would love to work with. Online, I think one person that comes to mind that like I do know her, but I haven't had a chance to work with her. I would like to try and do something with Purple Roseland.
Oh, I know Purple. She's so sweet.
Yeah, either that or I know technically I have worked with her, but I want to try and be a little more social with her, Miss Bunny Swan.
I like her.
Because I know I have worked with her in a couple of Toucan LDMs videos. Like I know I was a Diamond Dog and she was Rarity and Rapunzel. But yeah, if I had to pick one online person I wanted to do something with, I'd say Purple Roseland.
Oh, there you go. Okay, second question. I already asked you this like personally, but for the sake of the podcast, what movies are you most excited for that are coming out this year? They can be animated or not animated, any.
I know 2 that come to mind, at least for this year. I probably need to watch more trailers. Sing, that's one I'm actually looking forward to. It's by the people who made Despicable Me and stuff like that. That's one I'm looking forward to. And Sausage Party.
Oh my god.
I'm dying to
I was
watch
hoping you'd say
Sausage Party. The minute I saw the trailer, I'm like, I am seeing this. I don't care if it has Seth Rogen in it. I am seeing this. I have a feeling this is what Food Fight should have been, and I'm going to love every second of it.
When is that
Based on the
coming out again? I need
August.
So
Yeah.
I take it you don't like Seth Rogen.
I don't know. As an actor, he does fine, but most of the roles he does, it's just weed.
Sound like
I don't know. That's just all he
sound
seems.
like a high Terminator.
That just sounds like that's like the only roles he does, to my limited knowledge. And to see him do something like this, where I'm actually excited to see what he can possibly do in this R-rated animated movie, I'm stoked, man. I'm fucking stoked.
Isn't it the first CGI R-rated movie?
I believe so.
I think so. Yeah.
I think Helen Back might have taken that, but
No one's gonna.
What's Helen Back?
Helen Back was stop motion.
oh, no.
Ah.
It was made by Shadow Machine, which did Robot Chicken. I saw it,
Oh.
and I saw Helen Back. It's boring. Like, I fell asleep like 3 times in the theater.
Okay, that's actually good.
Jesus.
That's actually
bad
if I've ever heard
boring.
one for a movie.
That's actually a good segue to my next question. What is the worst movie you have ever seen, and you could wish for everything possible to get your money back?
Here. Can I clarify for that? The movie
Yeah,
you would
sure.
never watch again.
Yeah, that.
I can think of 2 right away.
Okay.
Never Ending Story 3 and Norm
Really?
of the North.
I'm not surprised.
Norm of the North. I saw this with Keyframe. We were legitimately curious. Like, we saw the reviews of it. It was getting so panned. And we were like, is it wrong? We're curious to see how bad this really is. And we should have taken the hint. It was embarrassingly bad. Like, we were just in awe and shock of how so little it tried.
See, my little cousin, she's like 13. She said, "Hey, will you watch this with me?" And she told me it was, and I was like, I don't know.
Did you ever find yourself look back at she look at you at some point? Can we go?
A few times, actually. A few times.
Oh, really?
I whispered, it's like, this is getting weird. Can we leave now? It's like, if it doesn't get any better within the next 5 minutes, yes.
Oh. So you just pretty much got up and left during the movie?
No, we actually, we had the balls to suck it up and go all the way through. I know I fell asleep once because I was like, oh my god, it's astounding how much how little I care for this. And it's yeah, like we even made a Vine about it. It's like Rob Schneider's a polar bear who oh wait, we're actually gonna see that. Dun dun shit. But just it wasn't even hilariously bad like so many other cult films like The Room and stuff like that. It was embarrassingly bad. Norm of the North and Never Ending Story 3. Those are two movies I wish I never saw.
I've only ever seen the second one. Is it really that much worse?
Never Ending Story 3, yes, it is worse than Never Ending Story 2. Like 5 times worse.
Really?
Wow. That's hard.
I've thought about seeing it.
That is saying something, sir.
And when I saw the Nostalgia Critic's review on it, he listed every single problem I found, and it was amazing. Like, oh my god, I could not look away specifically at the rock biter bit. That was painful. I'm gonna go off on a tangent if I keep this up, so next question, please.
I'm all out. Everybody else. Well, I had a great time having you, Will. If you'd like to come back as a co-host sometime for the right guest, I'd love to have you back.
That's weird. I expected this to go on a little longer. Oh wow! I actually expected there to be a lot more questions, but
yeah,
you know,
these usually last around an hour to an hour and a half, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But you know what? I actually had a fun time. Yeah, I wouldn't mind coming back.
All right, I appreciate that. I'll run it by you sometime in the future.